Welcome to Season 2, Episode 21 of Comic Book Nation, the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me again today is the team from quarantine. We are together while being alone. Janelle Wheeler's with us.
Hey, guys.
Matthew Aguilar's, as always, is here.
Wow.
He's a guy. He's here.
Man.
And we bring back for a 1-2 punch Mr. Connor Casey, because as you can see from the headline of this show, we've got to explain what we all just saw in WrestleMania 36. And so Connor is here to help, ease the tension and some of the hurt by explaining what we all just witnessed. The bizarre WrestleMania that will go down in the ages like so many things during this coronavirus quarantine era. But we got more to talk about besides WrestleMania and its bizarre antics. We've got to talk about the latest delays coming and hitting Disney and Marvel, which has now just completely changed the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 kind of slate and timeline of when these movies are happening. So we're going to get into all of that. I thought we were going to be thin on material, so I had some stuff about Tiger King, but we're only going to touch on that because we got more material now. New show, more material. So we're going to just touch on that. Quibi is here. Did you guys know that? Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then, like I said, we're going to get into our deep dive segment. We're going to break down WrestleMania for you, the latest on The Walking Dead, the latest in Westworld. And we continue our bold experiment with some retro comic reading and Janelle Wheeler's miseducation of comic books via Matt Aguilar also continue. So, like I said, we got a fun show today. If you've been sitting in quarantine and I see my little girl, his neighbor, is dancing in a TikTok shirt. So if that's not peak 2020 outside my window, I don't know what is. All right.
Oh, TikTok.
Let's get started.
Did anyone buy stock in that?
No, I like to keep my money and make more. So at the top in our news flash segment, like I said, the entertainment industry, the coronavirus pandemic has kind of brought everything to a standstill. Where now, like the commercials are like the first, like the quickest to adapt. We're living in a new normal. And we're here for you. But yeah, we are.
I can't even enjoy my shows because it keeps reminding me of what's happening. I'm like, I'm trying to escape. Can you please not tell me how you are handling and profiting off of the coronavirus? Every company.
I'm just trying to drink alone, just like show me something entertaining. So the entertainment industry is kind of crazy right now. Everything's on standstill, like everything else. So we've had to have a rapid kind of revision of everybody's plans for 2020, and all the big studios have kind of toppled like dominoes to kind of some of the quickest. We were all laughing at James Bond. Remember that? Remember when we were all laughing at James Bond, No Time to Die, like a few weeks ago? Like, what spazzes? They're jumping till November. Like, get out of here. Yeah, well, they were smart. They got out early, and they got that new slate because now even Disney Marvel has finally kind of capitulated to the fact that we're not going to be out of this in time for the summer movie season. And so they had to pull their slate of summer movies and do a bunch of reorganization. So we'll talk about the Disney stuff, because I know Matt's just chomping at the bit. He can never stand to just hold his peace with this Disney stuff. But we'll talk about that.
Didn't even say
But you wanted to, and I know you want to, so we'll get to it. But we'll talk about, as many kind of analysts predicted, some people were saying, oh no, Marvel can change things, it's going to be all good. But as many of us predicted, one Marvel change kind of necessitates the whole entire slate to move, kind of like a domino effect. And that's exactly what has happened. So it all began because basically Black Widow has moved its date from May to the November date, that November 6th, which Eternals had occupied. So we're not going to see Black Widow until the fall movie season and the holiday, and really the holiday movie season, kind of right on the cusp of that. So it's going to be kind of part of the big movie comeback of November. Venom 2, as we talked about last show, is still holding the beachhead at October, saying it's coming in October. So it's still holding that beachhead. We'll see what happens there. So that means now Black Widow's in November. So Eternals has now had to, and here's just the domino effect. We'll go through it real quick. Eternals now in February 2021, where Shang-Chi was. Shang-Chi is now going to be opening summer 2021 on May 7th. Doctor Strange, who was getting his shot at summer kind of movie godhood, is now going to be in the holiday movie season opening November 5th, 2021, which was Thor Love and Thunder's slot, which gets bumped to February 2022. Okay, so then after February 2022, Black Panther, which was already set for May of 2022, Black Panther 2 rather, is keeping its date, and that's kind of where things start to smooth out. that's where the bleeding stops, is right around May.
That's some good news.
Yeah, and even better news that I know Matt can't wait for.
I was waiting on that one.
Yeah, because we got all these release date moves, Disney kind of inadvertently confirmed the date for Captain Marvel 2 will be July 29th, 2022, but now that's been moved because they have to fill a gap. So after Black Panther 2 in May on 2022, we will get Captain Marvel earlier in July, on July 8th.
That's
that
cool.
Spider-Man slot in early July 2022. Then we have a bunch of dates that we still had always, October 7th, 2022, which everybody and their mother thinks is Blade. Makes sense because it's like the only October Marvel date we've seen, really. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. Then February 2023, May 2023, July 2023, and November 2023. So 2023 gets to be a stacked year where we're getting 4 Marvel movies. So,
and now 2021 is going to be a stacked year because
they're
kind of pushing everything together.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be kind of well, I mean, it's kind of the same run but just different films. And in a weird way, I'm kind of okay with this. Like, I am. Here's why. I'll give you a couple pointers why. Black Widow would have been a perfect summer movie. I mean, it has to move because of circumstances. I get that.
Right.
Eternals, I did not have faith in as a holiday movie blockbuster whatsoever. Granted, we've seen none of that movie, but there's just the premise and everything about it did not make me think, like, I mean, Jim's not here, and he's probably,
I was gonna say, he's somewhere
pulling out his
crying.
hair if he hears this right now. But like, yeah, I didn't have faith that this would be a summer movie opener. So I'm glad that it's moving to February because that has worked for like untested kind of properties. Like, it worked really well for Black Panther. Like, I forget, when did Captain Marvel come out? Was that March?
That was March. Was Guardians in February or no?
I can't remember. You're asking me to remember a lifetime.
Yeah, that's a while back.
Okay.
But no, I mean that's right. That's a perfect spot for Turtles, personally.
Guardians.
August? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, but it was also, that was like the dead season of August. Like, it was supposed to be in the dead season of summer, and it did the same kind of thing in a different time period. There's 2 really bad dead periods of the year. It's kind of after the first 2 weeks first week really of August until really October. That stretch is really bad. And of course the January, February stretch is bad, which they're trying to slowly transform. But, it's still, those are like 2 very big dead zones in movies. And Guardians hit that sweet spot because, that was like the only movie left, right? Because everybody goes on vacation for that last bit of August or is getting ready to get back in school. And like at the movies, nobody really thinks about it, but Guardians was the only one. It was a hit. Word of mouth was great. And people just like kind of spent August running back to that movie over and over again. So the point is that, like, for Eternals, could be a very good thing. Especially since it's coming out at a time when people might really, really be fully back into comfort and swing of going back to the movies and kind of feeling like, okay, it's a blockbuster season, like we're good, like, or it's a Marvel blockbuster. This could be a really good beacon for them to come back. So I like it for its chances. I like the shift with Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange for the same reason. While I wanted to see how cool it could be for Doctor Strange to be a summer opener, I like it that it'll be kind of closer to the Halloween, on that cusp between Halloween and holiday blockbuster season.
Absolutely.
Which I think is kind of perfect for what it's bringing to the table.
I agree, yeah.
In terms of like the darker mysticism / superhero blockbuster.
But not too dark, right?
Yeah, no.
Why they changed
Otherwise, Scott Derrickson would still have a job.
Behind it.
Yeah.
Pour one out.
That nice man from the quarantine watch party would still be here. Yes.
No.
Yeah. No, that's no shade. I love Scott Derrickson.
I know. I just love that you worked it in. That's amazing.
Yeah, right. It gotta always be branding. Always be branding, not always be Brandon.
You said brand.
No, I didn't. I can assure you I most certainly did not. But yes. Anyway, that's no shade on BD. See, you're turning this into something that it's not. You're instigating.
We're starting a rivalry right here.
You're turning it into something it's not. Started from the rivalry, now we're here. Anyway, I'm going to sip my tea.
You sure that's not whiskey?
No, I said tea. So for the purposes of this podcast and CBS, this is tea. Yes. So Doctor Strange has a good, and I like to see Shang-Chi, which is Marvel's first real kind of martial arts superhero epic, is a perfect kind of summer opener. And I'm kind of excited to see what it will do, even though it's a new kid on the block. It's Marvel. Like I said, it's martial arts action, and it's a major kind of Marvel Cinematic Universe mythology fill in. So I think it'll do well in that slot. So I'm not mad about any of this. And now we know when we're getting Captain Marvel, and Matt gets to have it even sooner. So
It's marked on my calendar already.
yeah. So I mean, I'm not mad at this. I mean, circumstances are what they are, and it was inevitable that this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
We knew that it was coming. I think who's the only holdout left? Is Wonder Woman still holding? No, they already
Wonder Woman
moved. Yeah, this has all
Yeah.
happened so fast. I can't even remember all the things.
I don't-
that
I
happened.
don't know who's holding.
I
it
don't think
anymore.
there is another
I
big
don't
like
think
big
there is.
tentpole holdout.
Yeah.
This is it, huh?
Yeah, I think Marvel was literally the last one to be
Wow.
like, okay, yeah, you're gonna. Well, Disney really, not even Marvel, Disney.
So yeah, all right. So I mean, this is it. So we're in for a stretch. There aren't going to be any summer movies. Like summer 2020 is canceled. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot to do. But in terms of movies, it is canceled. So I hope Netflix is coming with that fire because we're going to need it. But
Yeah, seriously.
yeah. So any parting thoughts? Anybody have any kind of worries? New release stuff? Anything you're really kind of liking about this?
I mean, just everybody's bumped back, and I feel like everyone's being pretty optimistic about when we get back in. We have to be optimistic at this point, right? When we have to be. That's the only way we can be, and we're just grateful that these cast and crew are being safe right now. I personally would rather have my superheroes being saved and like staying at home in quarantine than have them out there trying to shoot footage for films and TV shows, because we all just need to like bend the curve. I've heard someone say bend the curve the other day, and I just thought it was so funny.
Would you
And now I
die
keep
for
quoting
the
it.
Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
as long, we can celebrate like it's 2020 and 2021 together, and we'll all rejoice as one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same ballpark as far as like, I'm glad. Look, better safe than sorry. I'm glad all these places are. I mean, like Kofi said, Bond looks amazing as far as like their wherewithal to be like, look at the forecast and go, yeah, we need to get out of this. And now they have a primo date, and they don't have to worry about it. There are still a couple of things that I know like we'll get to at some point of like, there's still some projects out there that don't have dates. And they're scrambling, and so yeah, it's good that some of these got ahead. I mean, I'm bummed, of course, that we don't get to see, like Black Widow because it was right around the corner. But honestly, if you look at the layout, almost across the board, I feel like the new dates work better. So in the grand scheme of things, like I feel like Doctor Strange, like Kofi said, I feel like Eternals, these movies are actually set up better now to succeed than they were, and they will benefit because I feel like for the next 6 months to a year and a half, you're gonna see like once everything settles down and people are like, hey, it's actually safe to go out and be in groups and things like that, people will be wanting to go to the movies more because of all of this. So I think that benefits something like Eternals, which is just an unproven IP, and it's got a stellar cast, but it's an unproven IP. So we'll see.
So on the Disney side, basically we pulled Mulan's got knocked back from when was it, March or April? It was a springtime release, right?
Yeah.
And it got knocked back to
It was coming out it was coming
March?
out it was like coming out relatively soon. And then they pushed it back.
So it's pushed back to July.
Yeah.
Jungle Cruise got knocked from this year down to 2021 to summer 2021. So that's been moved.
Which you weren't very excited about to begin with.
No, I wasn't.
That's a big jump for that one. Like that
one, about a year, right?
Yeah, that one might be the one thing where I'm like, oh, I don't know if that helps that. I think it hurts it because like.
No, I mean everybody will have moved on since then.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, The Rock's in a weird place because, I mean, he has a pretty full slate that's all kind of up in the air right now. Like, he has this coming out. Then he was filming that Netflix film he's doing. I forget the name of it. Something action-y. And then he's to shoot Black Adam for DC Warner Brothers right after that. And so, like, yeah, it's going to be interesting how these films, like, arrive and, like, when they come out. Like, it's going to be nuts. So, like, yeah. And Jungle Cruise is one that I could see falling through the cracks. Personally, I get why they're doing it. I mean, Emily Blunt's hot right now, and like Dwayne The Rock Johnson is obviously one of the biggest box office draws in the world.
Yep.
And they're looking at that Jumanji money, but unless you know you have a really good film in the can and that one, like you're like in the studio, like, yeah, we're gonna rake it up with this, like Disney Plus would be my call, but that's just me.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, there is our first major release that Disney had. I mean, this isn't unprecedented to say that because Disney did just make a kind of big announcement that they are kind of pulling the trigger on putting out a big release on Disney Plus. Artemis Fowl. Well, I say big release, but depends, I guess, how you look at Artemis Fowl. I know for Connor, it is like top of 2020.
They wanted it to be the next Harry Potter. It wasn't going to be.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
That's what you hope out of a fantasy movie like that, but it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
It was probably going to be another Percy Jackson, which I adore, but
I like Percy Jackson
completely.
The
Yeah, but was supposed to be their big franchise, and then just 2 movies in was like, nah, we're done. That ain't happening.
That's so disappointing for fans who actually do like it, because then you're just left hanging.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that movie had already been bumped from 2019 to 2020. And it's like, why bump it again for like another year? It was supposed to come out in May. They're not going to keep it there. So they're just like, you know what? Stream it. And it's a good call. I mean, Disney Plus could use a pickup for people to jump back in. And this is an easy, low risk headlining event. Now, could the same, back to old Choo Choo Charlie Ridgely, could the same happen for New Mutants? Because New Mutants has been bumped off the schedule, and we don't know. We still have no date, right? Like, they still have given no new date for
Not that I know of.
So, like, yep.
He was so close.
So close, Charlie. Oh, here's Charlie.
Pour one out for Charlie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It really should at this point. Just Disney Plus it. Dude,
maybe we'll see how Artemis Fowl does, and then just do it. I mean, and New Mutants makes so much sense for Disney Plus. If not, if they don't want to, if it's too off brand for Disney Plus, then Hulu or something, because that would, again, just bring a lot of promotional attention to either service. And it's kind of, at this point, I would just have, like, I feel like I need a gypsy sage to, like, just bless the reels of this film because it's so cursed. Just get it out there. Just get rid of it. Just put it out and be done with it, because New Mutants has not been doing anybody any favors for like the last 5 years or however long it's been.
I get holding your bigger releases because, yes, having them in a theater is going to generate, you're talking, 700,000 to $1 billion plus money. With New Mutants, you were never going to make that. So just pull the trigger, put it on there, and get the streaming money and the subscriptions, additions, whatever that you're going to get from it.
Even just the buzz. I mean, news articles, podcasts, like, people don't have anything to talk about. You could be the next Tiger King if you release the right thing,
Yeah, get it out before Netflix gets that,
that other we're all shooting for, to be the next Tiger King.
There's only few ways you can use that sentence, and that is one of them. That is absolutely one.
All right. So we'll see what happens, but that's what's going on. This is what's happening with the new Marvel reality. And of course, this isn't the end of the slide, right? Like, it's just kind of, we're on the wait and see, but the Disney Plus series are in the same boat. So we're supposed to get Falcon and Winter Soldier this summer. That's I'm going to say right now, you might as well take that off the table unless they pull out something miraculous like in the next few weeks.
Didn't they say August?
Yeah, it was supposed to be August, so this summer, but like they were still filming it when everything got shut down. So it's not even.
It was just like the last episode or something like that. Oh wait, no, that was the Kardashians. I'm just kidding.
Wow, there's a big swing. Yeah, they were still in production.
Oh no, I'm one of those people that has my hopes up.
Janelle, you were not joking. Own it.
Oh no, I hate that. Sorry, hate is a strong word. Hate is a very strong word. I am not the biggest fan of the Kardashian, like.
Empire,
yeah. And I was watching Jimmy Fallon, and she was on there talking about how they were filming the whole, season, and we had to do the last episodes in quarantine by ourselves with iPhones. And I'm like, riveting. I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Can we get Janelle to do more Kardashian mimicry because that was amazing.
No, that's so mean.
That's amazing.
I just
But like I
I'm
said,
not-
Falcon and the Winter
not the biggest
Soldier, we don't know where that is right now. It's
Yeah.
somewhere. It's somewhere, but yeah, we can't count on that. And Loki was supposed to be early next year,
Oh,
and
I was
it
so
was still in
excited
the
for
middle of
Loki.
production. I think
Yeah.
WandaVision is the only thing that's been completed. And again, this all depends on like what the Phase 4 storyline is, and it depends on how these like it gets crazy because we don't know how the films and the shows could be kind of feeding off one another. We know that WandaVision, Loki, and Doctor Strange too all kind of have this connecting either events or story or
Just
something
so
like that.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
What sucks is now we've got to wait a full year from WandaVision to Doctor Strange to figure out how that connection works.
Yeah, because
Oh, don't
WandaVision is
remind
still
me.
the only one that could arrive on time, like, you know, speculatively right now. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy. So we're going to have to see how this all plays out. But, yeah, it's going to be a very different plan for Marvel Phase 4, as we know it. All right, so moving right along from the next Tiger King to the current Tiger King. Like I said, we're not going to take too long on this because I thought we were going to have a thinner show, so I thought I was going to have to make some beef jerky out of something. Out of this old thing. But yeah, Tiger King is still cranking it up. We did a whole bunch of episodes talking, even reviewing it and doing the spoilers, but it's still it's kind of making records for holding most time at number 1 on Netflix's top 10. Things are still going crazy with it. Like, yeah, it's affecting real life. Carol Baskin is obviously not happy with this. She is like, I'm out, because they said they're going to release new episodes of the show. Like a new season of it pretty soon, and I'm like, who's coming back for that? Who's going to still talk?
I'm curious because it seems like they're saying they're going to use footage never seen before footage, so footage that they already shot for it, and they're just going to like piece together episodes and I guess also add on new stuff. But she's not going to be a part of it. Joe can't be a part of it. He's in jail. Like I don't know. Let's just see where that goes.
No, I mean, it's like one of those one and done burner documentaries. Like, once you get all the freaks out and talking, like once they know they're freaks on the show, like they don't want to talk to you anymore.
Unless Don Antle gets arrested for something crazy, then I don't think.
But we say that, but they all have been out doing press and the talking.
And I will say, Antle is the one of the group. He would totally do it. He would totally put a camera and a mic in that guy's face, and he's going to talk like that. Yeah. That dude will do a whole series by himself.
And they're all the same way. None of them can help themselves. And like I've seen various like late night show hosts and people have been pulling them on and like kind of interviewing all of them. Dude who got his teeth fixed. Yeah, all of them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. But yeah, Carol needs to stop talking now. I understand why. They are trying to get you for allegedly feeding your husband to the
open the
tigers.
Septic tanks.
What's in the septic tank, Carol?
What's in the septic tank?
What's in the tank? Yeah, like yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be. But yeah. Also,
Joe is
maybe he's in the hospital. Yeah. It's just kind of. Yeah, because of but I'm trying to just make sure before I said anything.
Well, he had contact, or there isn't confirmed, but they said
contact with somebody with COVID-19. Yeah,
COVID-19 was in the prison that he was in. It was confirmed there. So when they moved him to a different facility, they had to quarantine him just based off of that. Which you thought, okay, maybe he was just quarantining. But then we also heard that he's actually in a hospital, and it hasn't been confirmed that he has it, but it's kind of all weird here. We're trying to figure out what's going on. So why is he in the hospital if he's quarantined? I don't know. I'm kind of unsure.
Well, and some of this was kind of weird to begin with because like he wanted the change in shift in prisons because he was in a county prison before. And he wanted to be in a different one because it would be nicer and he could have access to like a little bit more regular access to like things like emails. Because evidently, ever since the show hit, the dude's been getting like tons of emails and he's been responding to a ton of them and was like thanking fans for their support and everything after the documentary, which is just insane. Anyway, so then he got moved. But on the way there, he had to go to like a quarantine space before he could go to the other thing. And now those people are saying, well, he's not here. And no one's saying where he is at the new place. It's just hearsay. It's weird. It's a weird thing. So I hope some of that comes away.
I'd like to point out that Matt Aguilar has not taken up this level of deep interest in Tiger King because of any mandated job obligation. This is just purely Matt's passion, and I'm thankful for it.
This is not true. I've written so many Tiger King articles. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine. But it's still interesting. And I got Anissa hooked, by the way. And so now we're going through it again so that she can watch it. And now she's being sucked in slowly. So
I can see you two opening like a big cat kind of like preserve.
Why? Why?
Oh my gosh.
With tiger prints all day. Yeah.
I mean, just your kind of speeches to me on polygamy alone make me think so.
What I will say is, if I ever do open one, it would definitely have its own barbecue sauce, because that's where
Barbecue sauce.
he had his own barbecue sauce, and that was smart. It's all
Yeah.
about branding. And a country music album. I need to
Very
record
good
a
at
country
branding,
music
yes.
album. Yes.
Like, let's stop turning Joey Exotic into a folk hero. He's not a folk hero. But
Yeah, of course
you
he's
should collaborate. You should definitely collab with him. All right. So moving along from Tiger King to Quibi. Guys, Quibi's here. Quibi's here, guys.
Hey,
Hey, Quibi's
Hey,
here.
what does that mean?
Quibi.
it's a
Quibi. It's like Gabbo, you know? It's here.
What the heck
No,
is
but
So
here's
it's not Quibi, because I read the article and it said it's supposed to like represent the back end as bite. So do we call it Quibi or Quibi?
No. Come
Like-
on. Have you not seen the commercials? It's Quibi.
It's like
No.
symbiote.
I
Symbiote.
really don't know much about this at all, except that it's like little tiny mini episodes and you can only access them on your mobile device, but you can't take screenshots, which is alienating tons of memers worldwide. And
I think you
yeah.
pretty much summed up Quibi. I think you know everything
Okay.
there is to know about Quibi.
Dude, but
So wait,
So
has
Quibi-
anyone here used it yet? Does
No.
anyone have it?
no. I mean, I don't have the 10 minutes to download a thing that shows me 10-minute shows.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, so it's launched and it's not going well. It only has a fraction of the downloads of Disney Plus, and the reactions on Twitter are pretty savage. People are pretty
no.
going in. There were screen mirroring problems. You can't like toss it up on anything. It's just, but it is designed for your phone to be fair. Like that's what it is. So people obviously I don't think understand Quibi. And to be fair, I was joking about Gabbo, but they have marketed this thing like that freaking Simpsons doll, which is just to say Quibi over and over and not really like explain what the hell this all means, and neither do the commercials.
Yeah.
Some of the people are just savaging the shows. You have like Offset in a car for a show called Skirt. The guy from Titus from what's a Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and a thing called Dish Mantled, which is a cooking show. You have Chrissy Teigen's Court and a thing called Shape of Pasta. So, and people are just like, these look like parodies of real shows and not like actual shows.
I feel like the only ones I would watch would be the cooking
Yeah,
ones.
right. Chrissy's Court and Skirt look like a skit Tina Fey wrote for 30 Rock, for like a TV show that she like made up for 30 Rock.
If you want to watch a show where you can't understand the lead, watch Skirt.
It's just him and Cardi B making sound effects.
Oh God.
But some people say they feel like overlong Super Bowl commercials. Like, yeah.
Oh, that's
And
great.
other people are calling out how basically they're using celebrities and influencers to try to make it like a thing. So there's a bunch of those Mean Girl memes about they're trying to make fetch happen and like all that stuff. Oh man. No, somebody said it's a virtual version of Fire Festival.
Oh,
Oh my God. That's so great.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so
Porco. Now, okay, in its defense, what I will say is to play devil's advocate.
Quibi actually is a thing that 30 Rock came up with once. Somebody pointed that out. Jack Donaghy tried to make like TV smaller and crazier and like quicker and so fast that so people with attention spans could watch it.
It is a
Oh,
little
man.
unfair to compare it to Disney Plus. I
Right.
feel like that's like, okay, we're clearly like, I don't feel like that's what their competition is, to say the
Mhm.
least.
Yeah,
That
it's
said,
like-
still not a great opening download number in the least. I'm not defending that. I'm just saying like, it was never going to be.
It's like, yeah, it's like I started my Brony podcast and then people are like, well, it's not doing as well as This American Life. But-
Yeah, exactly. Like, what? Come on. throw it a bone. Like, yeah, it's a mobile only show, like 10-minute shows made for on the go. No one knows what the hell it is other than its name. And no one really knows much of the shows. Like half the shows Kofi listed were the first time I'd ever heard of those shows. Like the only show I know is not a show. It's just the commercials, because those are the things that play, I swear, before every YouTube clip now.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah.
that's it. That's the only thing I know. So they did a poor job in messaging.
Well, it's even better than that, because it's a service that downloads 10-minute shows created specifically to be viewed on your phone. And it's releasing at a time when none of us are on the go. And all of us are just sitting at home with hours and stretches of like having to watch TV in front of us. Like,
it's like playing a mobile phone game when you can play like something like Animal Crossing.
Like, yeah, I mean, we're all that life that they designed this for, it just ended. So good timing, Quibi. Like, if you were here 3 years ago, you'd be the man. But like now, like, yeah, we're all gonna be home looking for content, long, interesting content to watch that kills hours. Like, you killing 10 minutes, Quibi, I'm gonna kill my subscription. How about that? You know? All right,
man,
so now that we've endorsed Quibi,
But if you want to send over some codes or some free downloads, we'll
I'm not taking them.
review it for you.
Don't send them to me. Don't send them to me.
Yeah, we should have done that first so that maybe they cut it off before we talked about it.
All right. We've done enough. We've done enough on Quibi today. Stay tuned, everybody, because when we come back, we're going to recap TV this week, plus WrestleMania 36, plus we get into our comics recommendations when we bring back some of the retro. So stay tuned for all of that. All right. Let me see what time we're at. Rich says, okay. Oh, man, this is going quick. We better get through some of this. Oh, man, we can speed it up. So this week, Walking Dead, Westworld. The reason why I just brought this up is because Westworld actually kind of had a big payoff this week. We got to see what this season's version of a Westworld kind of mystery reveal would be all about. This season, season 3 has kind of said it's not going to be as crazy and twisted and confusing as season 2 got, but it would be more of a straightforward storyline about like a war between kind of Dolores and, you know, her trying to take over the world for the machines. But we did get a nice little twist on this latest episode. So spoilers for Westworld season 3. Spoilers. All right. So when Dolores got out of Westworld, she took, I think, about 4 other hosts with her.
6.
Machines. 6? Somebody's been paying attention. See,
I'm upset. I mean, and we only know 4, though. So that's why that number's in your mind.
Oh, there you go. See? Janelle has a meat program. That's nice. So she brought 6 other hosts with her, and it was kind of a question of which characters from the park that we knew did she bring out of the park with her. And so we knew by this episode that she had set up at least kind of 4 of these people. There were 4 of them. There was Dolores, Charlotte Hale, who's Tessa Thompson, dude Chips from Sons of Anarchy, the Scottish dude, and the guy from Shogun World that Maeve really kind of bonded with. He was also the head of the Yakuza. And basically the big twist, just to get to it, is we find out these aren't different hosts, these personalities from Westworld that are kind of living in new bodies. They are all Dolores. She made copies of herself, so she's pulling like an Agent Smith type deal and kind of using copies of herself to walk around in these 4 different bodies to kind of influencing. Oh, we know she brought out Bernard. That's, I guess, 5. And
so we don't know the last one.
6. Yeah, I don't think we know who 6 is. But so, yeah, she's been making copies of herself. So there's actually 4 of her working to infiltrate and kind of complete this master plan that will, you know, make a world for the machine hosts and do that. So that was a nice little twist on it, because they teased it and they kind of built it up like we were going to see familiar characters return.
I thought for sure it was going to be Charlotte was going to be Teddy. Just the insecurity and the like very uncomfortable vibe of being in that body.
I thought it was Teddy or her dad, actually. Like, because of the way she kept like scratching herself and kind of being like, I can't. I thought it was dad, maybe. In the way she kind of was like compassionate towards her, like that level of compassion. I thought it was maybe her dad, but yeah. So we were all fooled. It was kind of a twist, and they did a good thing for Ed Harris's Man in Black. Which I mean, if that's the end of him for the series, like I wouldn't be I wouldn't be sad about that because he got a really kind of complete storyline and ending
Oh
that
gosh,
they did.
no,
Like
I'm ready for more. We know he's gonna have a comeback because of the previews. Like he's gonna get out of there. For
I don't
sure,
watch
'cause we've seen
previews.
it.
Spoiler.
Okay. So I will say that there's one moment at the end where Dolores Charlotte pricks his neck with a needle. And we don't know if she's trying to get a sample of his blood, or this is a thought that she may be inserting some kind of drug hallucinogen, and that is maybe she's been doing that to him this entire time, that he's having all these visions about his daughter and his wife and busting up his place. Like there's a good chance that she has been drugging him all along. So who knows what could happen if that is the truth and he is no longer on hallucinogens because she doesn't have access to him in the hospital anymore and he has a big comeback. Who knows? He might be the one that saves humankind.
I hope not. I hope it just is like crazy and that's the end of the storyline, because that was a payoff of all the horrible stuff he had done to her in the first season.
See, I don't like I think I can tell that you really like Dolores. I don't like Dolores. I think she's evil. So
well, if I ever find out like I'm a superior built type thing, like I want to take over. Like I mean, that's just my ambitions. But
she also doesn't want, because the thing that's controlling all humans is basically AI. It's a huge machine that's dictating to humans, their route and their path, but she wants to take that out too. So she wants to be like the god AI, which, anyone with a god complex is a little scary.
No, you're pretty friendly. You were declaring yourself God like the second time you were on this podcast. If you're going to go back and listen, so you're a friendly person. Yeah. Yeah, and if I recall, it was about you saying how good it felt to feel like God. So
I want to feel like God. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're a pretty friendly person, so I don't know if I agree with that. But that was Westworld, so we're gonna see what happens there, and what the master plan is that everybody's kind of going for. Walking Dead kind of set us up for the big finale for this season with a kind of crazy epic episode, but it was kind of a weird mix of epicness and kind of character, it's kind of hard to describe.
Introduction and development. Yeah, we had
kind of
Princess,
hard to describe this one,
who is way better on the show so far than comic book Princess.
Yeah, no,
that
actress is very charismatic. She was really great to watch, and
it was nice comedic. Yeah, it was a nice vibe. And then Beta is definitely not wanting to be alpha, but he is straight up listening to voices of actual walkers at this point. Talk about hallucinating. But it's paying off because he found our group, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so, and they did, I mean, the one thing I didn't like about this episode was the Aaron, and what's that other guy's name who I don't remember his name.
I always forget his name too.
But I hate when they kind of Walking Dead pulls out like an obvious moment where somebody would obviously just be dead, like right there.
Yeah.
But we held them prisoner. Like, how do you hold these two prisoners in a walking horde? Like, what's that all going to be all about? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that is weird.
Hopefully they do die, not because I don't like the characters, but because you want some impact. You want some impact for a season finale.
I do not want Aaron to die.
And it's because you don't want Aaron to die that I need him to die.
Yeah,
because that would be some actual impact.
Because it would be too predictable if he didn't. But yeah, there's going to be so if you guys are watching The Walking Dead, this was not supposed to be the finale. There is one more episode left, but because of the isolation and quarantine of COVID, we are unable to get that. And we actually do not know when it's coming out. So that sucks because we're just hanging out with this, okay.
Was it in production or are they just holding it just because?
No, it was in production, I think.
No, I think, according to what BD said, they finished filming it principal, but there is, it's a huge episode with a whole army horde of walkers going to war with, Hilltop or wherever it is that they're at now. Alexandria or Hilltop, I forget now, to be honest with you. But
all of the above.
Yeah, so they're going to go to war. So it's going to be, it's going to be a huge kind of special effects episode, and I don't think they could complete post-production.
Gotcha.
So that's though because the studios are on lockdown. So that's that, but we'll see what happens. So those are the kind of latest in TV. Now we'll throw it over to the wrestling guys. Talk about the bizarre masterpiece theater showcase that was WrestleMania 36. And Connor, you had strong feelings about this going in and Vince McMahon's plans. How do you feel on the other side, buddy?
Well, I think that the matches that took place inside the empty performance center were missing the emotional oomph that WrestleMania typically has. But there were 2 matches that took place outside the performance center. And Matt, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about.
Oh, yeah, we haven't.
We had the Boneyard match, which took place at an abandoned farm, I think down in Florida. It was The Undertaker burying AJ Styles inside of an open grave after about 20 minutes of pure ridiculous fun.
What?
And then the next night, we had Bray Wyatt cause John Cena to disappear in what I can best describe as a match that is Twin Peaks meets Southpaw Regional Wrestling, but they go to hell.
Yeah, and that's a perfect description of that match. And I feel like,
What?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
You have to watch it, Kofi.
Yes.
I'm just like trying to process even what you're describing.
So,
And all I can think of is that Elmo on fire meme. Like,
Let me give you a cliff notes here on the Firefly Funhouse one. So Bray Wyatt is half evil Mr. Rogers, half shadow clown demon. He takes John Cena into his domain, and basically he has him relive all of the failures of his career. He makes him wear his old gear from 2002. He's wearing his old rapper gear from 05. He's having him relive the WrestleMania 30 match. We go back to 97 Nitro for an NWO.
Yeah, that was so good. Anyway, okay.
so this thing just went straight anime, huh?
It's also
Really?
very smart
There's maybe
because of this.
say what?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's really smart because, you know, they can't shoot a lot of new content. So it's really smart to have these like flashback. That's brilliant on their
Yeah,
part.
it's basically
I have goosebumps.
it has it's so well told because it's basically every major critique any fan has ever had of John Cena that gets addressed. It's almost like someone went to Bray Wyatt and said, "Hey, I want you to make a professional critique essay on why this guy sucks." He's like, "I'll do it, but I need like 20 different costume changes and we get to do 3 moves during the match."
And to be fair, Cena had been doing that to Bray in the lead up to this. So I mean, like as a storyline in a very short amount of time, as a storyline and as a match and like whatever it was, because it wasn't a traditional match, right? They exchange hits sometimes, but like that's not the point. Like the point is all the other stuff around it. But it was fantastic. It was so good and fantastic and not cheese like I was worried about with roaches on the floor, like all that junk. Like it wasn't. It was fun. Yeah.
So often when Bray tries to do the spooky stuff, it comes off as cheesy. He's fighting Randy Orton in an abandoned crack house in Missouri. He's projecting maggots on the floor at WrestleMania, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
This one they didn't hold back at all, and I have a story up on the site right now, and it's every little reference that is made. It's like 12 slides long. It took me an hour to go through the whole thing and be like, okay, this references that. This calls back to this moment from 2004. There's a 30-second little montage when he thinks he's punching him, but he's actually punching the puppet. It cuts. There's like 20 different matches it cuts to, and they're all a point when Cena had failed in some way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is.
I mean, okay. One thing that, regardless of whatever we say about WWE as a whole or matches or whatever, the production department almost never falters. Their promos are top of the line. And here, like that department shines, right? Like they put half of this together, and that's a credit to half of them. And it's fantastic because of that. Absolutely. But then there was also the Boneyard match.
It was, yes, which felt like it was like, what if Logan met John Wick, and except he's a biker?
Yeah,
that's the elevator pitch.
That's
The
So
image
okay,
I'm getting.
so the question is, I mean, do you want to break down the Boneyard match more, or I mean, that's a pretty good summation of what it is.
That one was exactly what I thought it would be, but it was the best possible version of it. I wanted them to ham it up a bit with like, oh, it's a cinematic fight. You've got Undertaker fighting off 10 guys at once because they're doing the thing where they only attack him one at a time. and there's spooky, like, oh, he's teleporting, he's throwing fireballs and all that stuff. Like I expected a lot of that. That was just the best possible version of it that they made.
Okay, so the question
Wait,
is
what?
then.
Wait,
Yeah,
he's throwing
yes.
like
That
we're
all
talking like Mortal
When does
Kombat
yeah,
style,
full
like
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat?
He sticks his hand up, and then suddenly fire shoots out of the ground behind the guy he's fighting.
He's in the grave
As
at one point.
As one does.
He's in the grave at one point, and then AJ goes to like do the final hit. So he's down in a ditch in the ground, and then the white light flashes, and he's suddenly behind him.
We
And
need to do an interview with him and see how pumped he was to like.
This sounds
be able to do
just
all
like
this
that
stuff.
time I drank too much Mad Dog while floating in the ocean.
so the question then comes up between these two, and which one was your favorite, Connor?
The Funhouse, because that one rewarded me for paying attention, which is something that WWE often punishes you for doing. So we talk about it on here all the time. When you try to like break down what's happening in a storyline, you go, wait, why would they do this? And this doesn't make sense. This time it was no. The closer you look at it, the more you can draw from it and realize, wow, they were telling something really significant here.
Yeah. No, I agree.
The Boneyard was just fun. It was just a fun time.
I saw a lot of, I mean, look, both of these got a lot of praise, well deserved. Some of the Boneyard, I mean, I will say the Funhouse one was my favorite of the two by far. And I think most of it was because I think the Boneyard match is novel if you haven't seen any of Matt Hardy's stuff. And if you have, if the impact was like, oh, the first 5 minutes of that Boneyard match, fantastic. Like, everything about it is fantastic. The last third of it, really pretty good. The middle is boring as hell. Like, the middle is boring as hell. It's literally people just punching each other, not doing anything else other than punching each other, kicking each other, the one at a time stuff. The best parts of this are when Undertaker has these great comebacks, by the way, and like, you got me, boy, like, you wanted this old man, like, he's chiding AJ on, and in the middle it's crickets. Like, in the middle there's none of that, and I'm like, where's the fun? Again, if you watch Matt Hardy's crazy compound ones, I mean, the dude's riding a lawnmower and he's got drones and he's talking to babies and he's got kids. Like, there's so much crazy stuff, but they ham it up so much and it's so much more fun. This was fine. It wasn't what I was like. It wasn't as good as any of those. The cinematic, like, the presentation was better because they had a budget, which was nice. But yeah, it wasn't.
So if this sounds like two guys are just ranting utter nonsense into the void right now, if you're not a wrestling fan, let me explain it to you like this. What we saw this weekend was proof that these, I'm calling them cinematic matches that have been filmed almost like a movie, where you stretch kind of reality. Everything's a little bit heightened. There's background music. These proved that those kind of matches can work. Mm-hmm. And that somebody like The Undertaker, who is 55 years old, has been in the business for 30 years, had more injuries than anybody cares to count, that guy can still put on a fantastic match because of the way it was filmed. I don't want them to take this format and drive it into the ground, but if we get 2 or 3 of these every year, that'd be pretty great. I'd be okay with this.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. But again, it's like, I hope they lean into it more. Like, don't go middle of the road with it. Like, go, because it's best. This is best when they go all out, and that's why the Funhouse one did that from beginning to end. It's that way all the time. It never stops hitting the gas, and that's why it's the best. And as far as like, I actually thought there were good matches in WrestleMania, even without the crowd. That didn't bother me as much.
There were some, but all the ones that were just kind of standard matches, they struggled for me to hear. Like, you could have cut a good 5 matches out of this show.
Oh, absolutely. It could have been one night.
Yeah, it absolutely could have.
It could have been.
I'll stand on that stump forever and say WrestleMania should not be 2 nights. It should just be one night with 8 matches at most.
And a cinematic one like this. Yeah. I'm good with that.
That's the gist of it, Kofi. Any questions?
So many. So many questions.
Janelle, any questions?
Can I watch it now that it has already aired? Will it be available? Like, where can we find it?
I'll get you my login, and you can watch it.
Ooh.
And then
Oh.
Matt, you mean she can order the WWE?
Yes, that's
That's
what you
what I was
mean.
going to ask, though, for
That's
anyone
what you
else.
mean. You mean that, like every Comic Book Nation viewing setup, she can have a login that can.
yeah, you
to
can. Well, actually, no,
WWE.
you don't even need to do that. You can
But
just
I'm
do
saying
a
for
free
anyone
trial.
who is wanting to kind of just watch something else right now, because we've all been, kind of stuck watching the same stuff over and over again, where can anyone find it?
It's on the WWE Network. You can try out a month of it for free.
Cool.
It's $9.99 a month. After that, you can cancel anytime. They have a fantastic library of basically all of pro wrestling history is on this one streaming service. So
I'm learning comics, wrestling,
Man, so much.
I'm just expanding from gamer nerd to just all around, like, well-rounded nerd girl.
exactly.
Do you?
New quarantine, new me.
Yeah. I'm not getting into all this. This sounds nuts. But
I'm
all right.
I'm really interested now.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for WWE Wrestlemania. Yeah, that was one for the books, I guess.
Oh, and just a note, for some reason they are refusing to stop taping, so we will keep getting more wrestling product from now until things go back to normal or someone tells them to stop.
Wow.
That ain't happening.
Vince, dude, the end of the world is here, and Vince McMahon is just like,
Well-
I'm going to keep getting this money.
Well, Dana White over in the UFC is about to buy a private island and turn this whole thing into Mortal Kombat, so
Yep.
he's not the craziest guy out here.
That's true. That
Wow.
is absolutely
I
true.
support it.
If they have a Kumite, I'm going out there.
It has begun.
Yeah. The dragon will enter. But that's neither here nor there. That'll do it for this. Matt, you got to real quick give us our retro comics breakdown and let us know what's going on with the miseducation of Janelle Wheeler in terms of comic books.
Yeah, well, let's first let me run through real quick what we've got. We don't have a ton. DC is again doing their digital releases of a few things. Most of them are reprints. There is a couple of new things to take note of. Batman Last Night on Earth is being collected, so you can read all 3 issues on one place, and it's very good. I know Kofi read at least the first issue. I can't remember, but
Read the whole thing, baby.
read the whole thing. Oh yeah. Freedom Fighters: Rise of a Nation is also collects the entire recent series, and that turned out to be way better than I ever thought it would. So that's also up. Teen Titans Go to Camp #7. That is a digital first series, like the Batman Adventure ones from last week. That is up as well on Wednesday. And then we also have Gotham High, which is the new young adults. Used to be DC Inc. Book, and it's like a high school version of Bruce Wayne and Selina and Joker, I believe. So it's actually just a really cool thing. You can actually see the full review for that on Comicbook.com. Nicole is actually doing that one. So that is for current books. Again, there's not that many. For retro, I have a few picks real quick. All New Wolverine, Volume 1. If you want quintessential Tom Taylor turns, I was hoping for more when Fallen Angels came out. It did not deliver ultimately what I wanted, but if you want to see great Laura Kinney and her as Wolverine, check Volume 1 out. The whole series is up on Comixology and Marvel Unlimited. You can definitely check that. I wholeheartedly recommend it. It's amazing. Prodigy Book 1 is also collected, and that the second volume is coming. The first one is fantastic. If you're looking for, since you don't have James Bond, if you're looking for a really just high concept adventure fun book, this is it. Then finally, James Tynion is doing Batman right now. Detective Comics Volume 1 is currently on DC Universe and Comixology Unlimited as well. This one is, if you want to see a great group that includes literally Batwoman, Clayface, Batman, Spoiler, and Robin, this is it. So definitely check that out. It is awesome. And that is comics for this week. Janelle, where are we?
Yeah. Okay. So I am starting my first like epic collection, Doctor Strange, Triumph, and Torment. These it says Volume 8. It's 1988 through 1990. It starts with Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, numbers 1 through 13. Marvel graphic novel Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And so I'm kind of just going at my own pace where I have time to kind of throw in a few here and there. I started off and like the first the first thing that jumps up is like, love is the spell is death. And Doctor Strange has like an eye patch on, and I have no context, and I have no idea what's happening.
Sorry. Yeah.
So no, it's fine, because this is such a big collection that when I was scrolling through it, I'm noticing that it goes back to where he does not have the eye patch, but I think I'm going to get the backstory of where that comes from and why that happens. But it did start me off kind of like right in the middle of it. I will say this is kind of what I have always thought comic books are. I don't know if it's because it's the style of like when I first started seeing comic books was in the 80s. You know, I'm an 80s child, but like this is the look of what a comic book is to me. Like the bright colors, it's easy for me to read because it's exactly what I'm thinking, like Archie comic, like the whole grouping. It's pretty wordy at times, but I'm even seeing other familiar characters like I'm on page like early in the beginning, I'm at a funeral for Doctor Strange, and I'm seeing, you know, Captain America and Thor and Hulk, and it's just really cool to kind of see other characters and like the bright colors. Again, I love it. Yeah, I'm just kind of understanding him a little bit more and who he is. I really appreciate that I got to read kind of his backstory first, because that, although I did watch the movie, it explained so much more, and it's really helping me to kind of just figure it out, like fill in the blanks. And then as new things are revealed, I'm like, oh, like that huge moment of, okay, like I get it. Or sometimes I'm wrong, like I'll fill in the blank and I'm actually wrong, and then I will see that, okay, now it makes sense. And I actually kind of like it. It's like a little game that I'm playing with myself, so I'm still enjoying it a lot. I just put on some really nice music and kick back and just read. It's really great. It's kind of getting me through this time. I like it a lot.
I am excited. No, that makes me, and like you said, yeah, it is an older book, so it is that more like quintessential classic comic style. That's actually why I'm really excited for you to get to whenever you do 2015's Doctor Strange, because it is such a, you know, it's a, you'll have all the foundations then to really appreciate like where they go with the story. But also Jason Aaron's writing is a little less wordy.
Okay.
And also the art is, you know, very distinct, but it's a perfect fit for the magic that's more modern. So I am excited for that. And that's a long run. So
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to take me a little bit longer because there is so much in this collection, but I want to, because I have the time. So why not just read through the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying it. I love it.
All right. So we'll check back in next week, see how this whole thing is progressing as Janelle's comic knowledge grows. Also, let's shout out that if you guys are just it'll be too late by the time you hear this, but we're doing a quarantine watch party for Guardians of the Galaxy, so I hope you were a part of that. And if you're not, you missed out on something big if you're hearing this and you're like, what was that? Because we have James Gunn coming through to do a quarantine watch party tonight, which is Tuesday night. Oh, my God. And
the days blend together.
They're all just kind of becoming bigger and bigger. So if you're hearing this and you're hearing the buzz now and you weren't a part of it, make sure you get on board with Quarantine Watch Party, the Comicbook.com one, not those rando others. The one that BD started and now is kind of getting more and more hype. So be a part of that. That'll do it for this episode of Comic Book Nation. If you're just tuning into the show these days because you're on lockdown, well, we got a whole bunch to offer you. Besides all the season 2 episodes, we have all the season 1 episodes, and you can find all of these things on the site at comicbook.com, where you can also subscribe to our RSS feed and get new episodes of the show, kind of updates about that, or you can subscribe on your favorite podcast listening platforms. We're on Apple, iTunes Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Google Playlists, iHeartRadio, or you can find our smiling faces on old episodes on the comicbook.com YouTube page. If you want to talk to us or about anything going on with the show, or just give us a heads up, or just say something nice, always hit us up at the hashtag Comic Book Nation, or you can find me at Kofi Outlaw.
You can find me at Janelle Wheeler on everything, including Twitch. And thank you for all the people who have come over from the podcast to say hi. I really appreciate you guys.
You can find me at Matt Aguilar CB.
At Connor Casey _CB.
Oh, and that's it, huh? Yeah, that's it. That's everybody. Nice. All right. So Like I said, we're going to still be here for you guys every Wednesday, every Friday on Comicbook.com, where you can now find our players back at the bottom of articles. So we're back. It's real easy. Just click on a Comicbook.com article if you're interested, and you can find us at the bottom. And our sister podcast, Wild Pokemon Has Appeared, is still cranking it out. So if you're on the gaming anime side, be sure to check that out too. We already plugged Quarantine Watch Party. I think we've plugged everything. CBS All Access is free right now, and they have excellent programming, so be sure to check that out too. That'll do it for this episode of Comic Book Nation. I'm Kofi Outlaw. We'll see you guys next time. Be safe, stay healthy, stay checked in. Peace.
Deuces.
Later.